marketing, definitely. It was learning more about business, knowing that I don't know everything and I have to educate myself. And I also have to hire people who know things that I don't, or maybe even smarter than me. So it's really, putting an ego aside that, hey, I definitely don't know all things about business. And there's people that I can hire that can really help project us and make us successful as well. And also, I turn to my mentor still and ask him questions, and he, supports me in our business as well. I also have a business coach too, so that's helpful as well. So, of course, a career coach, but I also need a business coach and get support there too.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets, the podcast where we talk with successful career coaches on how they built their success and the hard lessons they learned along the way. My name is Davis Nguyen, and I'm the founder of Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, and even $100,000 weeks. Before Purple Circle, I've grown several 7- and 8-figure career coaching businesses myself, and have been a consultant at 2 career coaching businesses that are doing over $100 million each. Whether you're an established coach or building your practice for the first time, you'll discover the secrets to elevating your coaching business.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets Podcast. I'm Kevin, and today we're joined by Jess Jarmo. She is the founder of Jess Jarmo Neurodivergent Career Coaching. Been in business for the last 3 years. Welcome to the show, Jess.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here and chat with you today.
Me too. One of the things I'm very curious is your origin story, the lore. Let's start at the very beginning. One of the first questions I have for you is, what made you want to become a coach, especially a neurodivergent career coach? That's pretty unique. And tell me about the process of turning it into a business.
Great question. I always knew I was dyslexic, so it's definitely something that was instilled in me that I always knew I was dyslexic. I didn't know I was ADHD. Having the experience that clients have now really helps me to give guidance and coach. So when I was in high school, I barely graduated high school. I struggled. I was on an IEP and I got into one college. I went to get my nursing degree and I had chemistry and I failed. Ended up switching majors. I transferred from that school to Mount Ida in Newton, and I switched careers to education. So I love educating people and working with people. And back then I really enjoyed working with kids and babies. Graduated college and I got a job as an infant teacher, and I made $13 an hour, and I really wanted to make more money, keep my sanity a bit, have my own kids. So I ended up going back to school, got my MBA with a concentration in human resource, and I loved it. I got a 4.0. It's just really amazing when you absolutely love what you're doing and you excel and have the right people in your life. But I also struggled with transitioning from having a blue collar job to transferring into white collar and thinking, am I good enough for this? Can I do this? And I stumbled a little bit. I had a good job, ended up getting another job it was a recruitment agency. I was trying to fake it till I made it, but I didn't really know what my tasks were, my task management, organization, time management. So my executive functioning skills were all over the place. And I still didn't know I had ADHD at the time. I thought it was my dyslexia. And the way that they were training me too, I was just sitting in front of a screen all day and it wasn't helpful. I needed somebody to really have a conversation with. So it was a toxic environment at the time as well, which I didn't realize the full extent. And I got fired after 3 months. And I went and I interviewed for this other job. And at first I was like, I don't know if I really want this job. And I ended up getting hired and I absolutely loved it. Culture was amazing. My manager was amazing. He was the COO and the founder of this company. And I got into my own head again, like, am I enough? Can I do this? My executive functioning started acting up, and my boss called me in the back office and I'm thinking he's going to fire me. And he says, Jess, I don't know what's going on. I think I'm going to have to let you go. And I burst into tears and I say, I'm so sorry. I'm dyslexic. I don't know what's going on. And he's like, all right, Jess, I'm going to help you. And what he didn't realize at the time, and I didn't realize, he's helping me with my executive functioning, managing my calendar, my tasks, organizing my day. And I was able to make 6 figures at that company. And I knew that my boss had my back, and he helps me in my business today. We're still friends and he's absolutely amazing. My team and I, we get to be that person that my mentor was to me for our clients. And I get emotional sometimes when I talk about it because it really hits home where I understand what people go through, and it's very emotional, and it's just exciting that we get to help people like that.
I love that. You know, the thing that I took away from that is that really in the right environments, you can really thrive. It's kind of amazing how you were in nursing and whatnot. Like I was a pharmacist. I used to be a drug dealer. So I kind of know the chemistry journey. And in that arena, you kind of struggled. But then the MBA stuff, it was kind of like finding a career that you really loved. And then having a boss and team that was very supportive at the time. Now, something interesting that you said was like, oh yeah, I just try to help, like, I'm paraphrasing, but I'm just trying to help people like myself and recreate experience that I went through, just having that support. Tell me about, I mean, in coaching, everybody talks about ideal client profiles, right? And so like, who are the type of people you help and what are kind of the problems that they come to you asking help for?
We help people who have dyslexia, ADHD, anxiety, autism, and the profiles are higher functioning, need support with, they may need the support in figuring out what job they want. Sometimes people come to us and they know exactly what job they want, but a lot of the time people need help choosing what that might be. We also get parents who call in and are looking for support and work with the clients and supportive. It's great when you get that background too from the parents because they've been working with them and typically on their IEPs, so they know them well. So I would say for answering that question, high functioning, somebody who wants to do the work. That being said, we'll get some parents who want to help their adult child, but they may not want the help or they're not ready to get that help or even face that they are neurodivergent. So in that case, we're not going to work with somebody who doesn't want to work with us because it's just not going to work. Say higher functioning and they want to work with us.
Yeah, it's really interesting. After doing so many episodes, I realized that desire to work is so important. A lot of times people, like companies still do like coaching as disciplinary action type of thing or like a PIP, like a performance improvement plan, and then those people never want to do coaching. It usually doesn't yield a really great coaching engagement for either party. So I thought that was pretty interesting. One thing I want to ask you too is like, okay, these high functioning neurodivergent people who are coming to you, how do they typically find you? What does your like marketing or look like, I guess?
Right now we have Google Ads, Facebook ads. Google Ads seems to be working, the best for marketing. We also do email campaigns and career fairs. So I've gone to MIT, Mass Bay, some networking events with students. That was pretty fun. And I do free webinars, which really helps people. I give them value, but also that will help potential clients, people to see what we do, and we'll have a conversation with them after if they'd like to continue working with us.
I see. That's so interesting. Sounds like it. So you're doing a little bit of paid media. You're doing some in real life events. Like, by the way, I've never heard MIT and Mass Bay in the same sentence. Like, it's a good word. But it's interesting that you go to both of those places. And then it sounds like you have free webinars as well that you kind of host and whatnot. Interesting. For my curiosity's sake, because I don't hear a lot of coaches do paid ads that much on this podcast. What's kind of like the CTA for these ads, or what do these ads typically drive to, I guess?
Can you clarify that question?
Yeah, of course, right? Like, so you're running these ads, right? Is it to your free webinar? Are you running these ads to your free webinars? Do you have like a lead magnet? Like, what are you driving the traffic to for paid ads?
Gotcha. Thanks. What I have is, so people can sign up on my calendar. So we do have a lead magnet that we use, and then we use Google Ads, or people will research us on Google looking for a career coach or neurodivergent or ADHD, be able to go to our website and they can book a call and put it on our calendar. So a free strategy call where they can ask us questions, give them, some information about, what it is they're looking for and what we offer. So we do use lead magnets, advertising, and direct them to the website.
Wow. So you have like SEO on top of that too, from what it sounds
Yes,
like. Yes,
SEO.
well. Which one is the most effective traffic source for you right now?
I would say Google Ads and SEO.
Very cool. I love that. That's awesome. I think most of the times when I hear like coaches, like so a lot of them have like referral based and stuff like that. But it's really inspiring just to hear your journey with paid ads and like that traditional like digital marketing stuff. So I love that. That's awesome. Okay. So I'm sure you're doing Google Ads, you have a bit of SEO, they're finding out about you, your services, they're raising their hands. And so I'm kind of curious, like at this point, if someone decides to do a coaching arrangement or coaching engagement with you, what does that kind of look like? I know some coaches in the past, they do like one-on-one, some do group, a lot of different methodologies, but which ones have you kind of gravitated to, Jess?
Yeah, so we do one-on-ones. We did try group coaching. It wasn't as successful. I feel that the people that we're working with really need that one-on-one experience. So we'll work with them weekly. Typically it's for an hour. Sometimes we'll even split it up depending on what people need, like 2 45-minute sessions, 2 half-hour sessions, 1 hour. And then we also have material. So we have built out material on how to find the right job, so they can go and view some videos. We have homework, worksheet that they have full access to, but we also bring them through and give them what they need when they need it.
What is interesting is that you mentioned group wasn't successful or you experimented with it. Like, what did you kind of realize after running it? Why do you feel like the one-on-one was way more successful than the group?
So the way that we ran it was we were giving our current clients that also have one-on-one support that they could go and do the group sessions as well. So what we found is just people weren't showing up to it. Maybe if we structured it in a different way, but we just left that alone. We feel that the way that I learn and that I found that my clients learn and gain motivation and confidence is, having that accountability partner, somebody to, check in with and show up, weekly, be able to have somebody who will answer their emails and be really supportive. Kind of like when I was talking about having that manager that's really supportive, helps you grow and learn, rather than think that when people were in a group environment, they were less likely to engage. It takes them maybe a little bit longer to feel comfortable around other people and sharing their story or asking questions.
Now, since you specialize in neurodivergent clients, right? Like, do you feel like there's any special accommodations versus like other, not special accommodations, but like unique methodologies that you had to adapt for this target audience, or not really?
Yeah, definitely. So, for working with people neurodivergent, we learn differently, and, being able to have visual or writing. So some people learn better when it's written and they can read it, see it. Some people are more visual people, so hands-on. So we'll walk people through certain steps. So let's say you're applying for a job, and applying on LinkedIn is intimidating. How to find those jobs on Indeed, LinkedIn. So I feel like there's hands-on, there's written instructions. There's a combination of both of them. So yeah, definitely adapting to what it is that our clients need.
Sounds like your work is highly impactful, and a lot of attention goes to your clients, and you can just tell just by the way that you talk about your coaching engagements. And I noticed something that you used earlier. You said "we," and I put that in quotes with my really bad doctor's handwriting. It sounds like you have a team, but I'm kind of curious. Have you had to make strategic hires over the years?
Yes, so I have a team. It's really amazing. I was just going through the numbers a couple weeks ago, and we grew 197% year since the last year. And I was a team of 2 a year ago, and now we have a total of 8 people working in the company. We have 4 coaches, so we've grown. It's really amazing to have a great team and hiring people who are also neurodivergent. It's really a great experience.
I love that. Now, speaking about the future, like, man, that's so crazy that just you're a team of 2, and then what do you feel like was the catalyst to kind of your like 197% growth, I guess, year over year?
It was marketing, definitely. It was learning more about business, knowing that I don't know everything and I have to educate myself, and I also have to hire people who know things that I don't, or maybe even smarter than me. So it's really, putting an ego aside that, hey, I definitely don't know all things about business, and there's people that I can hire that can really help project us and make us successful as well. And also I turn to my mentor still and ask him questions, and he, supports me in our business as well. I also have a business coach too, so that's helpful as well. So of course a career coach, but I also need a business coach and get support there too.
I love that. A lot of times people say that they're like self-made and stuff, but there's always people behind the scenes that are really, really supportive, like whether it's your team, whether it's your mentor, whether it's your business coach. And I love that you have this humility to you where you're like always learning and always experimenting new things just from your story so far. So I love that.
Thanks.
One interesting thing I would like to talk about, it's a bit taboo. Obviously, you don't have to give any hard numbers, but as we're speaking, I can imagine that your operational expenses have probably also increased as you expand the team as well. There's probably a lot more overhead than just you and a team of 2 back in the day. And so a lot of coaches, they struggle with things like pricing and pricing strategy. And so I guess one thing I'm kind of curious is like, how has your pricing changed since you first started? And how do you kind of structure your pricing? Is it mostly packages, value-based, retainers? Like, I'm very, very curious about this.
Yeah, definitely. So at first I was structuring it, overall I structure it as package. So right now it is 6 months, 9 months, or 1 year that you can sign up for. Previously I was just doing 2 months, 3 months, and also offering longer duration. But what we really found is people need at least 6 months. Whether they find a job sooner, we help them transition into their current job. So job sustainability, how to really, become successful in that 30, 60, 90 days. And then from there, we'll also expand into long-term career planning. We also work with their managers if they're open to it. So we have some clients who are working with our coaches and their managers are also communicating, and it's a team support system.
Thanks for sharing that, by the way, because especially that 6-month insight, like I start seeing patterns. There's something magical about the 6 months. And so one thing I also want to ask you too, when you were first starting, because I'm sure your pricing now and the way you price it is a little bit different than before. You're talking about the evolution because you used to do shorter term engagements. But when you're trying to, like, if you're give advice to yourself, right, when you're trying to come up with that initial pricing, how did you first do it back then? Like, what did you compare to, like the hours or the transformation someone has? There's so many different ways to price anchor like coaching, and coaching is kind of subjective sometimes. What's the advice that you give to yourself if you're go talk to baby coaching Jess, I guess, back in the day?
Yeah, so I really was basing it off of what I had learned from other coaches. I had taken a marketing course, and to start, it was everybody was doing like, start with 3 months. I was very nervous to ask for the money, right? You have to get paid, but I was very nervous to ask for, a good lump sum of money. So I think that, to talk to myself is, hey, I have a really amazing product or service and value here, and being confident and having a really clear-cut conversation and goal when you're talking in sales, meeting is just having that confidence and a clear picture of what it is that you can bring value to, what it is you can do. I would say that was what really made me stumble a little bit, was maybe underpricing myself at first, and then really transforming what it is that I do, how I help people, and also just being able to listen to people in those sales conversations. People want to be heard. People want to be, related to. So sharing my story at the right time, being able to relate to what it is they're going through. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. And I think it's very relatable too, because I feel like a lot of coaches underprice a lot of times. And so what I'm kind of curious about too, what was the because there was this clear transformation when you mentioned like, hey, I started listening better. I started being like more clear about what I offer and what I do. Like, what were some of the catalysts? I kind of gave away what was going through my answer, but like, was it the mentors and business coaches that were helping you? Was it just through the repetitions? What do you feel like helped transform you the most?
So I would say, it was a combination of having a business coach, my mentor, and learning and practicing and doing it, more often, having a strategy. I think that I want to emphasize just having a clear picture of what it is that you're offering, because if I didn't, then that would make people question or, think that, maybe this isn't the right fit. But just having that clear expectation, and also for myself, right? I want to make sure that what I am offering is going to be supportive. I'm going to be able to, support people in making their goals. And I would say, it's learning, having my mentor, and I also have a business coach, and being open to pivoting. So I think that sometimes we get stuck, and I definitely did back then, was getting stuck that I have to have it this certain way. And, business and goals, they're changing. So it's okay to transform or change your plan.
That's really great advice. Like, it's okay. You're giving people the permission to change the plans because, I don't know, psychology, right? Some cost fallacy, right? We dedicate to one plan and we want to work out. But I love what you said, and I just wrote that down with my crappy handwriting. I do want to switch gears here because, you did talk about kind of the growth previously, but I'm kind of curious for yourself. Like, where do you want this coaching business to take you in the next few years? Do you have like desires to scale? What does scaling mean to you if that's the case? Or do you have like secret dreams or ambitions no one knows about?
Yeah, definitely. So we want to scale. We have goals to hire 5 more people next year and grow with coaches, our sales team, marketing. And in addition to that, I am expanding with public speaking. So I'm hiring another coach to support me in public speaking and how to become really great at that, improve that. I want to be doing more public speaking events at colleges, organizations, community, and bring bring value, share my story. And I also, long term, I'd love to write a book to help people in their careers. And what else? We are doing a workbook, creating a workbook for our clients to sell this coming year. And we're also going to sell our online platform, and it will have videos and material that people can go through. And another thing, so I have so many things, so many ideas. And I'll tell you one more thing is, we get some people who can't afford our services. So creatively trying to find different ways how we can support these people. Some of it is, doing now is the free webinar where you can get free access to what we're doing. But in addition, expanding those thoughts. We are currently working with California, so they give some allocate money for our services, so expanding that potentially as well.
Very cool. Like when you say California, with the actual state, I'm assuming?
Yeah, so I can't remember exactly what it's called, but yeah, California, then we worked with Colorado, but it's like the equivalent to like vocational rehabilitation.
That's so beautiful. There's just like so many. I sense this, like, I could be wrong, but I sense it's pretty exciting for you because you're starting to like see this momentum. It reminds me of like the graph, right? And there's like exponential growth, right? And it was kind of like, and then went, which was crazy.
Yes, it's very exciting.
Yeah. I want to ask you too, because then again, right? Like we always see the highlight reels on Instagram or whatever about people's businesses. One thing I am very curious about are like, what are kind of the growing pains that you're kind of experiencing right now in your coaching business? Like anything unexpected, anything that would kind of surprise people, like because they can't see it outside looking in?
Yeah, so I was actually thinking about this morning that you might ask me this, and something that we're growing and it's exciting, but it's creating processes and procedures internally for coaches, for our sales team, and it's exciting time. How do we, organize and make sure that we are dotting our I's and crossing our T's, and we're being very efficient and effective inside the organization as well. So, one of the things is working on, educating coaches and making sure they're still learning and growing. Also, in addition to that, is something that comes to mind is just staying on topic with what is relevant and different laws or politics that may affect working environment or finding a job.
Thank you for sharing that, by the way, because the fun stuff is like, oh yeah, we're getting public speaking gigs, we're like writing a book, right? But then it's really interesting that you mentioned the processes and procedures, right? Dotting your I's, crossing your T's and whatnot, and just trying to stay updated about what's happening in your industry too. Yeah. Really interesting. I do want to move on to our last section called overrated, underrated. So something I think about is like, as a business owner, you've had mentors, you've probably gotten a lot of great advice due to your growth, probably got some bad advice at one point, and some of this advice was probably solicited, probably a lot of it might have been unsolicited, by the way. So anyways, what is the most overrated piece of business advice that you've gotten so far, and what's the most underrated? I'm kind of curious.
That's a really good question. Underrated, overrated. Let's see. I mean, I'm not really sure. That's a good one. You stumped me. Let's see.
Did you want a little bit of help, or do you need some time to think?
Yeah, give me a little bit more.
So I'll tell you the patterns that I recognize, like from doing this podcast. Overrated tends to be like a very cliche saying, right? Like it's a general business advice that everybody repeats that kind of like, maybe it's not completely wrong, but you're like, oh my God, this it kind of gives me an ick, right? That's kind of like what that is, right? Underrated, it's kind of like, oh my God, more people should know about this. This is like gatecaps. It's like the best. This is really good advice that no one knows about.
I would say, working with a marketing team, I think that, being able to just allocate a little bit of money to help bring in those clients is something that I'm not sure if it's underrated or overrated. Maybe it's underrated. People, I feel like a lot of, like you said, coaches are doing a lot more networking. I do networking as well, but I think that where some of my pivotal business increase in revenue was getting support in marketing and advertisement and spending a little bit of money and then growing from there. I would say that what has been really helpful, and I don't know if people are really talking about this, but people do, a lot of different types of career coaching, and they're having conversations and coaching within, but where it is that we go a little bit more above and beyond is having material and more supportive services that can help our clients excel and get to their goals a little bit faster with some hands-on experience or hands-on support. Instead of, I feel like that where it's underrated underrated that it's saying, yes, we want our clients to be more independent and be able to do things, but we also need to help them understand it first. And it's okay to have some hands-on support or a little bit more guidance before, letting them go.
You know what? Your second answer, I would actually consider that overrated, right? I feel like the general consensus is kind of like deliver value to your clients, right? But the overrated part about that is like, yeah, but there's a lot of work and understanding of your clients to make that transformation happen. So I think, that's really, really interesting. I really like that. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Cool. Last question is the hardest one of the day. How can people find you and connect with you?
So they can find me at jessjarmo.com, and you can go on there and book a call if you're interested in a free strategy call. We also do email, so you can do jj@jessjarmo.com and send me any questions or information that you have. We also have a Facebook group that you can join, and Instagram, and I can send you, that information. But
cool. Jess, reviewing all my notes on my iPad, right, and trying to decipher my own writing, there's a few things that kind of stood out to me. Your initial story, I think I kind of alluded to it earlier, but I think it was so amazing how you put yourself in the right environment and how you were able to thrive. And it's really inspiring to see like your current journey right now. And I think what was really interesting for me, it's like so much can change in a short amount of time. That team of 2 to team of 8 was not that long ago. I think it's like inspiring too, because sometimes we have this idea that growth can take a long time. But what was also really interesting was your marketing too, because the interesting thing is like, I don't know, after doing so many of these podcasts, I can kind of like guess people's revenue by their types of marketing strategies. But you're one of the few that actually does like paid media and all that, and it's SEO. I love that. And I also think that it was really interesting how you experimented with different models and stuff, and you're just very, very open. And this humility, you didn't say it explicitly, but I sense this humility about yourself and just try and test things and be like, ooh, does this work? Does this not work? Without any like emotional heavy investment into these things. Probably helps having a mentor and business coach. And then the last one, kind of talked about it earlier. It's okay to change your plan. I think that's what people really need here sometimes, giving the permission to just like pivot. So Jess, this is my really long way of just saying your work matters. I appreciate the work that you do. I appreciate you coming on a podcast and just sharing your wisdom with me today. So thank you so much, Jess.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed chatting with you today.
That's it for this episode of Career Coaching Secrets. If you enjoyed this conversation, you can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this episode to catch future episodes. This podcast was brought to you by Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, or even $100,000 weeks, all without burning out and making sure that you're making the impact and having the life that you want. To learn more about our community and how we can help you, visit joinpurplecircle.com.